Did he show up today? Body and or spirit for our opening hymn. Come, come, whoever you are. We're going to try this as a round. We'll sing through it once, and then once we sing through it, this side will sing, and then this side will come in on number 2. Okay? Are we feeling good about that? Okay, let's go. All together. Come. So it's good when you have a plan. I'm just saying. Okay. Thank you, Charles, for helping out. So I'm Reverend J. Wolin, settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. I just want to say thank you all for being here, both in person and those who are online. We invite all visitors, I just want to let you know, that you are welcome to participate in any of our events. Of course, today's topic is invitation and welcome, so I'll be focusing on that today. We do invite you to register in our virtual guest book. You can see on our website, uusrq.org, or if you're here in person, you can sign up at the welcome desk right outside. And if you do, you will receive at least a weekly email with our newsletter telling you about all the events that are happening here at the congregation. After the service as well, we invite you to head out to coffee hour, where there's some coffee and always some good cookies and some good conversation with our members. So today we have a couple of short announcements and then another announcement. So the first, just you may have read about it in the newsletter, but I wanted to personally introduce. We have 2 new staff members. Hillis Hughes, who has been our communications coordinator, is our new director of finance and operations. A relatively new member, Brett Duval, is our new office and communications coordinator. I believe they are here somewhere. If you could stand up, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. And we all hope that you'll give them the grace they need as they learn their new positions. Also, I understand there is a pancake breakfast sign-up in the courtyard after service. There is a Bid Fest kickoff next Sunday here in the morning. You'll get exciting, I don't know what it is, it's always a big surprise, a little bit of a show. Please come next week to hear that BidFest kickoff. For those who don't know what BidFest is, it is our major fundraiser and auction, and we need you to donate things, and they'll tell you all about it. Okay. Also, after the service, there will be postcarding for support for Amendment 4, women's reproductive justice, the right to have an abortion. That will be happening in the library. And the last announcement will be our Share the Plate today. We have, who do we have? Kristen Pullman from the Children's Guardian Fund.
Terrific. Good morning. My name is Kristen Pullman. I'm the Program Director of the Children's Guardian Fund. Children's Guardian Fund is a privately funded 501c3 nonprofit organization that responds to the immediate needs of children removed from abusive, neglective homes. We provide emergency needs such as beds, cribs, clothing, and other essentials, and we support more than 1,000 children in our community. Although we address a variety of needs that cannot be met by the state, our main focus is reestablishing normal childhood experiences, such as playing sports, dance, music programs, attending summer camp, academic tutoring, graduation, and prom. Children are only removed from their birth families when they have suffered abuse, neglect, or abandonment. Their lives have been filled with anger and chaos as their role models most likely suffered from substance abuse issues or mental health problems. Many have never had a birthday cake, a book, or a decent pair of shoes, much less the caring attention of an adult in their lives. One of our biggest normalcy programs is academic tutoring for children who have spent many years living in abusive and violent situations or have not attended school consistently. They are anywhere from 1 to 3 years behind their peers academically. We provide a one-on-one academic tutor who meets with them weekly as they develop new study skills that support them in their new living placement and new school. Have a used laptop? We collect used laptops and work with the Sarasota Technology Users Group, who sanitize the hard drive with a 7-step process that protects the donor's information. They refurbish the laptop and we distribute them to our children. Of course, any of you who have ever raised children know they have great needs throughout the year. We work year-round to ensure that local children are given a chance to experience childhood normalcy during all seasons and all stages of childhood. Call to action. Donate a used laptop, volunteer, or write a check. All that helps our children in need. We work to ensure that young people who do not have the support of their parents at least have the support of their community. I appreciate this opportunity to share with you what we as an organization are most passionate about. To learn more, visit childrensguardianfund.org, and thank you on behalf of the children we support for your generosity.
Now it is my pleasure to welcome back Passerine to share their gift of music with us. Thank you.
So nice to be back. Thank you all. Happy Sunday.
Summer's in, round the bend, just flying. The swimming suits are on the line, just drying. I'll meet you there. ruin your whole vacation. Well, you never know how far from home you're feeling until you watch the shadows cross the ceiling. Well, I don't know, but I can see it snowing in your car. The windows are wide open. Come on home. Come on home. You don't have to be alone. Come on home. Valentines break hearts and minds at random. That old Easter egg got a leg to stand on. Well, I can see that you can't win for trying. And New Year's Eve is bound to leave you crying. Come on home. Come on home. You don't have to be alone. Come on home. Moon and stars out in bars at Rampton. I still love the picture of us walking, just like that old house we thought was haunted. Summers then came faster than we wanted. Come on home. Come on home. You don't have to be alone. Come on home. Come on home. You don't have to be alone. Come on home.
Thank you. Beautiful. Our opening reading today is All That You Need Lies Within You by the Reverend Angela Herrera Curran. Consider this an invitation to you. Yes, all of you, with all your happiness and all your burdens, your hopes, your regrets, an invitation if you feel good today, an invitation if you do not. If you are aching, and there are so many ways to ache. Maybe your heart is heavy or hardened. Maybe it's troubled, and peace can take up residence in only a small corner, only on the edge, with all that is going on in the world and in your life. It doesn't matter. All that you need for a deep and comforting peace to grow lies within you. Once it is in your heart, let it spread throughout your life. Let it pour from your life into the world. And once it is in the world, let it shine upon all beings. As we light our chalice, please join me now in affirming our value of inclusion, which will be displayed. Together, inclusion. We strive to be an association of congregations that truly welcome all persons who share our values.
Good morning, everyone. Today's story is Ways to Welcome, written by Linda Ashman, with pictures by Joey Chu, which have been modified by me, and you are to look and see if you can see those modifications. So, waves and shakes and warm hellos, eye to eye and nose to nose. Soothing words, an expert guide. Step by step and side by side. A cheery classroom, a friendly grin. Good to meet you, come on in. Helping hands, a rescued hat. Cups of tea, and a lively chat. A work of art, a small bouquet. An invitation. Hey, let's play. A book-filled room, a song, a rhyme. Have a seat, it's story time for all ages. A sniff, a pat, a gentle hug, a comfy bed that is safe and snug. A homemade sign, excited cheers, a special gift, and happy tears. Blooms to buzz, a splashy bath, starter homes on a shady path. Shelter from the rain and heat, garden treasures tart and sweet, an offering, a smiling face that lights an unfamiliar place. A welcome can be warm or cold. It can be shy and quiet and big and bold. Meant for someone new and small, or not so new and very tall. It sends a message loud and clear. Hello, friend. I'm glad you're here. And I'm so glad you're here, whether you are in person or online, because survey after survey says that we keep coming looking for community here, where we can be who we are and accepted, where we don't all look alike or even think alike, but we share our humanity and our common values. And just like in this story, the way we greet and welcome can come in so many different ways, but all are a way to be seen and acknowledge each other, to invite each other into our deepest dreams of our heart's longing, to care for each other. But it is so easy to come and leave the service and just look for those who you know already. What if you entered a new space and everyone just nodded and then went on their way to their own circle of friends? We all need to be greeters. Look for those not in conversation, and they could be new or a visitor or a longtime member. But go engage them with a question that is out of the ordinary, like, what are your passions? Or what did you think of the sermon today? Or even, what is the dream of your heart's longing? Today is about invitations, so I'm going to give you several. I invite you to wish Reverend Jay a happy birthday after the service. I'm sure he will welcome it. I invite you to stop by the membership volunteer table in the courtyard, actually it's back by the Lexile wing, and sign up to help with connecting to people. Those are visitors, new members, existing members, and shut-ins. We need more connection. There are so many opportunities to help in very small ways. Our youth this year have voted to learn more about Islam, Catholicism, Judaism, and Buddhism. If you have knowledge or experience with those religions, I invite you to be a guest speaker at one of our classes. See me about those opportunities. And lastly, I invite you to join me in the library for a drop-in Chalice group, which is a small ministry where we learn to listen and share our thoughts on the topic of liberating love and covenant. Postcarding has been moved to the West Wing. So now I invite all the children and youth to join their teachers in their classrooms to enjoy more learning and fun. And if you're new, follow me. I'll show you the way. Thank you.
Well, the moon is broken and the sky is cracked. Come on up to the house. The only things you can see is all that you lack. So come on up to the house. And all your crying won't do you no good. So come on up to the house. So come down off the cross, we could use the wood. So come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. So come on up to the house. There's no light in the tunnel, no irons in the fire. So come on up to the house. And you're singing lead soprano in the junk man's choir. So come on up to the house. Now don't life seem nasty, brutish and short? Come on up to the house when the sea is all stormy and you can't find no port. Come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. So come on up to the house. Now there ain't nothing in the world that you can do but come on up to the house. You've been whipped by the forces that are inside of you. So come on up to the house. Keep going, yeah. Now you're high on top of your mountain of woe. So come on up to the house. And you know you should surrender, but you can't let go. So come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. This world is not my home, I'm just passing through. So come on up to the house. Yeah, you gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. So come on up to the house. Ooh.
Thank Thank you. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. Our centering in words today, in line with the topic, is entitled Invitation by Herrera Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for. And if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dreams, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with the pain, mine and your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine and your own. If you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful or to be realistic or to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you're telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. I want to know if you can be faithful and therefore be trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it is not pretty every day. And if you can source your life from God's presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand on the edge of a lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes! It doesn't interest me to know where you live and how much money you have, except at stewardship time. Sorry. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done for the children. It doesn't interest me who you are, how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in those empty moments. As we go into a time for silence, I ask you to reflect on the question, what is the dream of your heart's longing? remember when I was about 40 years old and I started telling people that I was studying for the ministry, they told me I was going through a midlife crisis. I said, no, not a crisis, just merely a midlife self-reflection and reevaluation. I remember when I first thought about ministry as a real possibility, the first thing I did was to call up and make an appointment with my therapist. I've always been a self-reflective person, and I had thought deeply about this idea. But I thought it was important to get an unbiased professional to better understand the genesis of this idea, what was driving this idea to be a minister. Wanting to make sure it came from the right emotions and purposes. And during this time, mostly due to Unitarian Universalism, I was learning new things about myself, about my values, and about the world at large, outside my own small cone of existence. We should constantly be expanding our experiences and deepening our relationships with everyone and everything around us. 19th century Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson, in his Divinity School address, it's one of the 3 famous speeches they make every seminarian read, and I've adapted it just slightly. He wrote, and I quote or said, "The soul invites every human to expand to the full circle of the universe, and will have no preferences but those of love. The time is coming when all humanity will see that the gift of God to the soul is not a vaunting, overpowering, excluding sanctity, but a sweet, natural goodness, a goodness like thine and mine, and that so invites thine and mine to be and to grow," end quote. To be and to grow. You know, there is so much more to know about ourselves and the universe and others, but yes, even ourselves at any age. I am still learning new things about myself now, even at my birthday. To explore why we are like we are, to explore why we think, how we think. You know, the ages and years of experience, right, give us new issues and new ideas and new knowledge to have to learn to deal with, right? To understand our limitations and our possibilities and the consequences of our choices. Why we became seekers, right? Searchers, finding a community that embraces that search, committing ourselves to a pluralistic, multi-generational, multicultural vision of the world. And that requires us to learn about others so that we can find not only wholeness within ourselves, but allow for wholeness between ourselves and others, and allow for others to find wholeness. Right? I love, if you've not seen this vision of an iceberg and how we view the world, and I admit this is a Google fact, but according to Google, 90% of icebergs are underwater and not visible from the surface. And this was also confirmed by the movie Titanic, I'll just say that. Joking. Now, this may be a little hard to see, but the tip of the iceberg shows how we express ourselves in the world, like art, music, food, customs, dress, hair, just to name a few. But below the surface are all the cultural aspects that forms those expressions that often nobody sees. So I want you to think about yourselves even. Right? What percentage of who you are and what you believe is visible to yourself, let alone others, right? So much is below the surface. And just as in this picture, so norms, leadership styles, concepts of fairness, learning styles, body language, etiquette, all of these and many other social constructs are affected by where we lived, when we lived, and with whom we lived. And I have to tell you, it's so true when I think back on my life. We had a certain culture of how you ate in the household, what time you showed up. And, you know, there were times when I went out to the larger world, I realized I was sort of out of step, right, with what that culture was in the business world when I first went out into the business world. I had never been given cotillion classes, so I did not know where that little fork or spoon went all the time. That's just a minor example, but extrapolate out that 100 times. So I invite you to be true to yourself, though. For it is only in being true to yourself that you can be authentic, and thereby be in authentic relationships. Right? When we connect our inner values and desires with our actions in the world, that is when we feel authentic. Right? When we invite authenticity into one part of our lives, right, it often translates into many aspects of our lives. Whatever it is that may raise up your soul, and that will be different for all of us, right? I invite you to explore it, whether that be a joy or a sorrow, right? I invite you to touch the center of your feelings. Let us not suppress it. Let us befriend our feelings. Let us explore them. Psychiatrist Carl Jung talks a lot about the shadow side of our psyche. Right? He writes about how we create a persona of how we want the world to see us, and even how maybe we want to see ourselves. He argues that we often repress, even to ourselves, this shadow side, which is something that is real, it is still a part of us. And and he wrote, and I quote, "Everyone carries a shadow, and that less that it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. At all counts, it forms an unconscious snag, thwarting our most well-meant intentions," end quote. So let us go, I invite us, see, invitation. I invite us to go deep underwater and understand that sorrow, that shadow. You know, even when you go underwater, think about when you go in a pool, right? You have to hold your breath sometimes, right? You can only stay there for so long. But I invite you to try it and to do this, because it will always be a part of us, and we need to learn how to live with it and how to transform it. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, known as Thai to his followers, speaks of a 5-step process to transforming sorrow. The first step, similar to Jung, is to recognize each feeling as it arises within us, right? Whether that be fear or sadness or whatever that feeling may be. Second is to become one with the feeling, not to deny it, but to welcome it. And Thai writes, "This may seem frightening, but because you know that you are more than your feeling, you need not be afraid. As long as mindfulness is there, it can chaperone your feeling," end quote. The third step is to calm your feeling. And Thai writes, "You calm your feeling just by being with it, like a parent tenderly holding their crying baby." So think of it, that was such a vivid statement to me. Like, how can we be compassionate with ourselves, with our feeling, right? And then the fourth step is then to release it and to let it go. And the fifth step is to look deeply into the causes of that particular feeling. both from within and without, as a way to understand it better and to be better able to react the next time that it arises within us, because it will. And so, as Ty often says, befriend your feelings. Even in the midst of sorrow, I would say, we can still find joy in every moment if we look for it, whether it be in the laugh of a child, the changing of the colors of the leaves, the conversation with an old or new friend, or maybe even the New York Mets getting into the playoffs this year. Take comfort in every joy, large and small. One more thing I ask you to explore deeply before letting it go is the amount of donation that you will give when we pass and we do our offertory. 100% of what you give, unless you put in the envelope and put it, say it's for your pledge, 100% will go to our share of the plate. So please be as generous as you can. For those online or if you have a cell phone here, in the YouTube description there's a link, or you can use the QR code in the order of service, and make sure you check share the plate. Let this sacred time begin. Our next reading is Invitation by Mary Oliver. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day? For the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles for a musical battle, to see who can sing the highest note, or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth, or the most tender. Their strong, blunt bleaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake, not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say, it is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. it could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life." And now for some more melodious tunes from Passerini.
We'd like to welcome and introduce our friend David Mishkin. He's going to play this next song.
I'll light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today. Staring at the fire for hours and hours while I listen to you play your love songs all night long for me, only for me. Come to me now, rest your head for just 5 minutes. Everything is done. Such a cozy room. The windows are illuminated by the evening sunshine through them. Fiery gems for you, only for you. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And la 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 la. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And I'll light the fire while you place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
I want to thank Terry Ann Bajork for placing flowers in the vase in front of me. Home. You know, we often think of home as a place where we grew up, our age. This was my childhood home that's up on the screen here. I was raised in that same house for 16 years. 1 bathroom for 5 people. I could not imagine sharing a bathroom with my children, but it did teach me efficiency in the bathroom. So whenever I visit New York City, you know, I always force the family to drive by my old house, and I always get mad when I see they cut down that tree that was in front of my house. I don't know why, but I'll have to explore that deeply with my therapist. So now I recognize that for some, their home was not a safe place, and home maybe becomes an idea of what maybe was once an innocent time. Maybe we yearned for a time when we didn't have to make critical decisions for ourselves and those who depend on us, or before we were faced with huge responsibilities. But often due to changes that we experience in life, the losses we accumulate, the barriers we have to cross, the frustration we feel with unclear or uncleared paths, we sometimes want to recede back into what is more simple, less challenging, the status quo. We avert our eyes to the reality of what we see in front of us, and we worry about how change will affect us and try to defend the way it's always been. And thus we recede into ourselves and our personal needs and desires and imagine that we are protecting ourselves and others from something new. And when this happens, we are actually, though, limiting ourselves to new possibilities and the opportunity for growth. One of the first great writers I came to read when I was young was Thomas Wolfe, who wrote Look Homeward Angel. I remember I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, and I had to literally, when I read his books, I had to sit with a giant unabridged dictionary next to me. I mean, he used words I never learned in high school, and clearly we could talk about another time my high school education, but now I will say some people found Wolfe's writings pretentious, including Ernest Hemingway, who described Wolfe as the over-bloated little Abner of American letters. Hemingway was never subtle in his writing or his critiques. But I liked Wolfe. I like learning, especially new words. I even have an app on my phone now, Urban Dictionary, because most of the new words I learn these days are not ancient words, but newly created words. If I had more time, maybe I would go into a couple of examples, but we'll have to wait till another time. In addition to new words, I like new ideas. I like new experiences. Many of you are here because you sought or seek a new way to explore religion, religious ideas, and religious communities, a new way. A place that would accept you for who you are and who you are becoming. A place that feeds your hunger for wisdom and compassion. A place that recognizes that truth is not sealed for all eternity. A place where searching for the unknown is encouraged. We forget, though, that after a while, sometimes the ideas that we once had as new are the old ideas for someone else. And that means if we are to keep this religion relevant and vibrant like a running river, right, we have to welcome new people and new ideas to the table. And as importantly, we need to be here to support them. Just like there was somebody here when we each showed up to support us. Thomas Wolfe, writing after the Depression in his posthumously published novel. I don't know why I have a problem pronouncing posthumously. You can't go home again. And he writes, and I quote, like a cicada, which as it enters the last stages of a life cycle, goes through a magnificent transformation, becoming a winged creature, and when they saw it, its newness, its crudeness, its raw strength, and turned their shuddering eyes away. Give us back our well-worn husk, they said, where we were so snug and comfortable. They meant to reassure themselves that nothing now was really changed, that things were as they had always been. But they were wrong. They did not know that you can't go home again. America had to come to the end of something and to the beginning of something else. End quote. So in these days and times, I find this passage still very relevant. I do. We see a large group of people who are hungry for a new way forward, a new thing, a new America. Not an old America, a new America. An America that is diverse and multicultural. An America that is free for all people. An America including freedom from discrimination. An America that supports education for all people. An America where all people have freedom. An America that have freedom to live a healthy life, no matter what their financial condition and means are. We know the same is true for Unitarian Universalism as well, that there are people out there who are hungry for a religion that allows freedom of exploration of religious ideas, hungry for a religion that puts its values into action in the world, hungry for a religion that they feel they can authentically belong to without hiding who they are. Our vision includes where all persons can find belonging, spiritual growth, and support on life's journey. We often say that we have deeds, not creeds. If we mean this in more than just words, but in deed, then we must actually be welcoming to newer people. And so I invite you today to talk to people who are visiting with us, or maybe someone you don't know, or maybe someone you haven't seen in a while. Give them a call, right? I invite you to be genuinely curious about someone you don't know. I invite you to invite their opinion and participation. Now, I know this is hard for many of you who are introverts, and we do tend to attract many introverts. I don't know how that demographic works out, but it seems to be somewhat true. But I ask you, our members, I make this request. When you go out to coffee hour, sit down to someone who is wearing maybe a visitor name tag, or even if it's someone you don't know, right? And be friendly. Invite them to some event. You know, this week we talked about, we have this engagement question in the order of service. If you're an introvert, consider this a prompt for yourself to ask the person you greet, what is the dream of your heart's longing, right? Not just small talk, but deep conversation, right? As well, after the service, there'll be a table outside with participants of our membership committee to offer you ways that you can help connect with and connect others. Please stop by. And actually, visitors can stop by. I find visitors are actually the best people to work on welcoming, because they know what it feels like to not know anybody. And so they tend to often be the best welcomers, actually. I often say every member is a member of the membership committee here. Each one of us represents this congregation to visitors and newcomers. They will take their cue from you. What culture will they see? Will they see an openness to the new? Will they feel welcome? Will they feel they belong here? Like the cicada burrowed in the ground before it takes flight, or like the caterpillar before it realizes it is a butterfly, we don't realize how far we can go based on our current experience. We have to evolve, and the only way to evolve is to adapt and to grow, and to allow other people to find their way home here. Because I believe you can go home again. It may not be the home of your childhood or the home of an idea long ago rejected. No, for many who have moved frequently or who didn't have innocent childhood, perhaps you've come to realize this sooner than others, the old statement that home is where the heart is. Home is where we can be our true selves. Home is where we are accepted for who we are. And it's well where we explore non-judgmentally who we are becoming. Home is where the harmonies of life come together. And we decompartmentalize ourselves, and then we can become whole. Home is where unconditional love waits for us. Home is where we feel we belong. Here, you can come home again even for the first time. You can shed off all that wears you down. You can take off that armor you cover yourselves with to protect yourselves from a world that can be judgmental and harsh. Here, you can open ourselves up to something new. Here, we can grow. And let us make sure that when we grow, we don't just grow old, but we grow in wisdom, we grow in spirit, we grow in compassion, and we grow in our ability to connect in loving community, to nurture the spirit and help heal the world for ourselves and for newcomers, to help them find their way home as well. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. Chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for your presence here today. Thank you for your beautiful music. Go out, talk to each other, do good, write postcards, have fun. Thank you.